Welcome back to the Out of Bounds podcast. I am Gavin Williams alongside
Charlie Caleri.
And how are we doing today, folks? We have a good episode today.
A little fun episode.
A little fun episode from my favorite podcast, other than this one, obviously. It's called Pick a Side Podcast. If you haven't heard of it, check it out. They're great guys. They're hilarious. They're funny. And those boys know sports.
They know their ball.
They know their ball. So, with a little pick a side theme to today, we will do pick a side. So what I will do is I will name a player, and then based off that one player, we will name other guys to compare. And you have to pick one of the players. So, for example, if I said LeBron James, I would you stick with LeBron James the whole time, but you name 5 other guys who can beat a little controversy with.
Yeah. So basically, I'll just start right now.
Yeah.
My first guy right here is Tyrese Halliburton. So the whole time we're going to be comparing Tyrese Halliburton to the second guy that I named.
And then the third. And then the fourth.
Then the third, then the fourth, and so on. So every guy's going to be compared to 5 other guys.
Yep.
But we'll get right into it right now. I'll start with Tyrese right now.
Yeah, just start us off.
Tyrese Halliburton, right?
He's a dog. He's a good guy.
Or Mikal Bridges.
I'm going to go Tyrese here.
Why?
I mean, obviously Tyrese getting that All-Star last year. Things didn't work out. I mean, in the long run for the Pacers, but individually, that kid can ball. And Mikal can too. Not taking away from him, but Mikal was always that number 2 guy when Tyrese has always been that number 1 guy. So I'm going to go Tyrese here.
All right, so you said Mikal's not a number 1 guy. That's fair.
No,
right?
now he is.
Yeah,
in Brooklyn. But
this next guy that I'm about to name, he is the number 1 guy on his team. Trae Young.
Oh. For those who do not know, Trae Young is in my bottom 3 of least favorite players. I'd say he's probably 3. I'm not a Trae Young guy, but I'm going to... Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Trae Young, though.
Why? Yeah.
The 3-point... I mean, the only reason why I would... How much did Tyrese average?
He averaged 20.7 points per game last year.
The only thing that I would do for Tyrese to keep him in there is his defense, but I think offense outweighs defense in the NBA nowadays, which kind of sucks. But I'm going to have to go Trae Young, even though I absolutely hate that guy.
Okay, so next guy I have on this list,
though?
I think...
Because you're supposed to name him too.
I mean, I would probably say Tyrese for both.
Tyrese for both.
I think Tyrese is probably better than Mikal Bridges by a good amount. And then, I don't know, I think with Trae Young, like you mentioned, I mean, I think the defense actually makes him more of a valuable player than Trae Young.
I think he's definitely more
valuable. I value defense a lot. So, I mean, especially from a point guard like that who can, obviously give you 20 points a game. Yeah, and he obviously an exceptional passer, just like Trae Young. I mean, they both average over 10 assists a game. So, I don't know. Those guys are pretty comparable, I feel like, more than people think, even though they play so differently. Yeah. They have a lot of those same little things in their game. But this next guy, I'm assuming you're going to pick him, but I don't think it's as far apart as people think it is. This whole point of this whole thing with Tyrese is to point out how underrated he is in the league.
Yes.
So this guy that I'm saying right now is Anthony Edwards. Who's better than him.
I'm going to go Ant.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go Ant because, I mean, he's a new version of Russell Westbrook in the league. He's explosive, he's exciting, and he's only getting better, like, exponentially every year. And Tyrese took a really big leap last year to be an all-star, but as of right now, I'm going to go Ant. More exciting, but it's very close.
Yeah, I obviously think Anthony Edwards is better, but I really don't think they're that far apart, and I think Ant will have a better career overall, but I think Tyrese will be always that guy that's like secondary and will always be kind of overshadowed by.
Hope he gets on a good team. That'd be really cool.
Tyrese?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put him with a team where he can contend for a ring. That'd be really cool.
That would be pretty cool. So, this next guy,
I'll
of your guys. No, I still have 2 more. I still have 2 more.
Wow.
Jrue Holiday.
I'm going to go Jrue. Defense.
You think his defense is that much better?
He averaged 19 points last year.
Well,
let's not take away from Drew's
Tyrese
offense.
averaged 1.6 steals last year. I'm assuming Jrue Holiday was around the same.
Yeah, Jrue Holiday, he's going to – hot take right now. He's going to be the defensive player of the year, I'm telling you. He has been lights out this year so far. He is going to be the defensive player of the year.
Bold take.
But I'm valuing defense here. This is where I'm going to value the defense. And this is, if there's one point guard in the whole NBA that you want guarding someone, it's Jrue Holiday. I'm going to go Jrue Holiday.
All right, yeah, that's
not for
fair.
The fact that he's a Boston Celtic. Even if he was still a Buck, I'd still go Jrue Holiday.
I think Drew's very, very close. I think he's slightly better than Tyrese as of
not
right
offensively, but just the defense.
Yeah,
it's
just Drew.
defense.
Yeah, I agree. I think Drew's defense.
He's the greatest. Yeah. He's the greatest defensive guard in the league right now.
Yeah, he's a top 5 defender in the league. Period. Yeah,
exactly.
So, and then this last guy, his former teammate, De'Aaron Fox.
Ooh, I mean, Fox showed us a lot last year. I'm gonna go Tyrese though. I'm gonna go Tyrese.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Tyrese. I mean, Tyrese got to be his own man when he got to the Pacers.
They both did.
Yeah,
they both did, really, honestly.
But I think Sabonis had a lot to do with De'Aaron Fox, so I'm gonna go Tyrese because of his ability to work by himself.
That's okay. Very fair. I mean, I think I'm gonna go De'Aaron on this one, only because that kind of point guard. I mean, unreal. I mean, just like you said, Russell Westbrook-esque, kind of like Derrick Rose. Those explosive point guards, kind of like John Morant now.
Yeah.
I guess we're comparing these guys, but De'Aaron has all the tools to be one of the best point guards in the league. He probably already is, but Tyrese, I think, is just a little step below him.
Yeah, I could see why. So, my first guy, and my guy, Derek White, who is not on the NBA Top 100, by the way, which is absolutely crazy. I'm not going to talk about that, though, because we're talking about comparing players. First man up, D'Angelo Russell.
Ooh. I'm probably going to go... Ooh. That's a tough one. I think I'm probably going to go Derek White.
I am too, but it's really, really, really close.
I don't know. I just think some about D'Lo's game recently just hasn't done it for me.
It hasn't been D'Lo. I mean, I think I was telling you this, or one of our buddies out here. If D'Lo just played like how he played on the Nets, that Lakers team could be
and I don't think we're
gonna.
I unfortunately don't think we're gonna get that D'Lo back. So.
He hasn't been the same D'Lo since that year.
Not
since that
at
playoff
all.
Year.
Not at all.
If he played like that every single year, wow.
Yeah, I mean,
he could be a top 5 point guard right now.
He could be, but he doesn't play like that. So I'm gonna go Derek White right now.
Yeah,
this is right now too. Let's remember
right now.
that because we're gonna get into some like legendary players a little bit later. But
they're not in the prime of their career.
Yeah, not right now.
So all right, Derek White or Cameron Johnson?
Oh, I'm a big Cam Johnson fan, but I don't know. Derek White. Looking at him, I'm looking at his stats right now. I think I'm gonna go Derek White on this one too.
I am too.
Only because Cam Johnson, he's just too young right now. I think maybe after this season.
I think Derek White has just more season than him.
Yeah, I think after this season, maybe Cam Johnson will be better.
Yeah, but I think Derek White's in his prime right now.
Yeah, as of right now, it's Derek White.
Yeah, completely agree. Derek White or Mike Conley?
I'm going Mike Conley here. I think he's had like a weird renaissance in his career.
He has.
Like he was so good on Memphis and then went away. I mean, he was on Memphis, but he wasn't that good anymore. Yeah. And then kind of bounced around a few teams.
Yeah, Utah.
Yeah, and now he's, in Utah now, and he's playing really well. Or he's in Minnesota, sorry. Now he's playing really well. So I'm going to go Conley here on this one.
I'm going to go Conley too. I just feel like on the offensive side of the ball, Mike Conley's better than Derek White.
He changed his whole game.
He did.
He really did. I mean, he's brought that shooting element into his game. Yeah, I mean.
And Derek White, we're not taking away from you, and I love that guy. Derek White's defense is better than Mike Conley's.
Because Mike Conley could have been one of those point guards that we said, oh, remember Mike Conley?
Yep.
But he revolutionized his game kind of like a Brook Lopez guy kind of did with bringing in that shooting to make sure he can actually stay on a roster.
Yeah, and he sure did.
Yeah, he did. Still is.
Next man up, Derek White or Harrison Barnes?
Man, honestly, probably Derek White, but yeah, probably Derek White, only because I think he can put the ball in the basket a little bit more efficiently.
I think his defense is better.
Yeah, and it's slightly, I mean, they guard different guys, but
they do.
No, I do. Yeah, I do think Derek White maybe is a little bit more versatile. I don't think Harrison Barnes can guard guards the same way that Derek Guard can guard forwards.
Yeah,
I guess.
And I'm gonna name a last former teammates actually. Derek White or Grant Williams?
I'm going Grant there. I think he does so much.
He does
defensively, and even in the low post to get those easy buckets, I guess, for him. But because he's so big, so I think at the defensive end he adds something that Derek White just can't. That inside force that just really can't be moved.
You're forgetting something about Grant Williams, though.
What?
He has a great corner three.
He does, and he's a great shooter too. I think he's probably a little bit better than Derek White at that too.
I'm gonna go Derek White here. I think Grant, not now, but like specifically last year, was a man coming off the bench, and Derek White was the starter, and he really elevated his game because he was a starter, and Grant didn't because he was on the bench. For the sole fact of minutes played a game, I'm gonna go Derek White because he has more experience on the floor. Not this year though. Grant's been balling out this year, so far. He already scored more than Luka in a game, which is awesome. I love that. Love that.
He did? Oh, I didn't even see that.
He had 20 and Luka had 18.
Oh, that's really funny, actually.
Go Grant. I love you, Grant. Good
all right,
kid.
So my next guy now is a Michigan legend. Actually, a Michigan legend. Not even kidding. Jordan Poole. Now, could he be a Wizards legend? Could he be?
I hope so.
We don't know. All right, so the first guy I'm comparing him to is Austin Reeves.
Ooh.
This is the toughest one, I think, for mine. Not this specific guy, but all these 5 players, you're gonna be pretty stumped on all of them, I think.
I'm gonna go Austin Reeves here. I think specifically last year, we really saw a man come out of a shell and play like an animal.
Unreal. I mean, he was on nobody's radar, and then jumps into top 50, 40 player in the league conversation.
Yeah. For the sole fact that his energy brings more of the team. When the ball's in his hands, you're excited to see it. And for the fact that Austin Reeves is so good beyond the arc, and I know Jordan Poole is too. I mean, that guy can chuck it up from half court. Team player, I'm definitely going Austin Reeves. So for that reason, I'm going to go Austin Reeves. And I think his defense is better than Jordan Poole's.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned behind the arc. So for reference, Jordan Poole last year, he averaged 20.4 points per game, and behind the 3-point line, he shot 33%.
Yeah, that's really not
33%, almost 34%. So not great numbers from Jordan Poole last year, but I mean he does put up a lot of shots, so it kind of makes up for it.
Yeah.
I'm also going to go Reeves here. I think the most underrated part about Reeves' game in general, or just I guess the way that he came in the league, is how quickly he got LeBron to trust him.
Yeah.
People don't get that from years of playing with him. I mean, he did that in one single season. So
just a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do a lot to gain LeBron's trust, and to do it that quickly is just incredible. So
absolutely.
Moving on from him, Jordan Poole or Immanuel Quickley.
Immanuel Quickley, runner-up for 6th man of the year, but lost to my guy Malcolm Brogdon. When Quickley's on the floor, the Knicks are a different team. I don't know why he's a 6th man still. That guy should be starting all day long.
All of these guys that I'm about to name, so like the 6 total guys that I'm naming in this section, are all guys that when they come in the game, you feel their presence. And you feel the energy that they bring.
And for that reason, I'm going to go Immanuel Quickley. When he's on the floor, the Knicks are a different team. They're just so much of a better team. I don't know why he's not starting, quite frankly. I think he should be starting over Josh Hart, over RJ.
I think he just brings something off the bench that they can't get otherwise.
I don't think any team really can mirror that when he comes on the floor. I think he might be the 6th man of the year.
He might be. He's definitely. I mean, if he was already in conversations last year, he's definitely in it this year.
Yeah.
Especially playing a better, probably going to have a better season this year. Than last year, and playing the same role.
Yeah, and watching him just in the first game of the season against the Celtics. I mean, we were up 12, and when Quickley got on the floor, it was a whole different Knicks team, and they were winning at one point.
Yeah, they took the lead, and he was a big part of that. So
yeah,
I mean, with all that being said, I'm gonna go Poole on this one, only because I think that I don't think Quickley would be doing the same if he was in the starting lineup. I don't think he'd be bringing the same energy. I don't think he'd be kind of revitalizing that team when he comes in the game at the same points. But Poole can do that with starting. We've seen with the Wizards, and then obviously coming off the bench with the Warriors. So we've seen both sides of his game, and I think he's just a little bit more versatile than Quickley is right now.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can see what you're saying.
Next guy I got here is Anthony Simons.
I'm going to go Jordan Poole here. I don't think this is closer, but I don't think this one's as much of a debate as the other ones. I think Simons is a good dunker. He's a good player. Overall, though, Jordan Poole, I'm not going to lie. I think he's a much better player.
You think you're not a big Simons guy?
I'm not. And he's a really good ball player, but he's not as good as Jordan Poole.
I think Simons is an incredible young player in the league. Yeah. And, I obviously picked him because when he comes in the game, he's electric and he can light up the scoreboard at times. But I don't think he has as well-rounded of a offensive game. Yeah. I don't think he has as well-rounded of an offensive game as Jordan Poole does. So I'm going to go Poole on this one, too.
Yeah, we got to give Jordan Poole his credit because he's still underrated in the league, which is kind of crazy to say.
Yeah, I mean, he averaged 4.5 assists last year. That doesn't really get mentioned too much. And he almost averaged a steal per game. So his defense is probably a little bit more underrated than people, give him credit for.
The Warriors treat him like hot garbage. Let's just put that.
So next guy up is Jordan Clarkson.
Ooh. I'm gonna go. Jordan Poole. I'm gonna go Jordan.
That's a really tough one, though.
It is. I think Jordan Clarkson, just like Emmanuel Quickley, they bring a whole different energy when it comes on the court.
Mm-hmm.
But Quickley's is a lot more than Jordan Clarkson, in my opinion. So Jordan Poole is he's a bigger threat in the league than Jordan Clarkson. I'm gonna go Poole party here.
I'm going to go Clarkson on this one, only because the amount of times that Jordan Clarkson has absolutely cooked the Clippers is unreal at this point. Every time that we play the Jazz, I feel like, or whatever team he's on at the time, I feel like he always has a really good game. So I always see the best of Jordan Clarkson whenever I watch him. So that's why I'm going to go Clarkson in this one.
Yeah, it's a close one.
The next one, the last one I have here for Jordan Poole is Tyler Hero. Which I know probably is going to go to Hero here, in my opinion. I think
I'm going to say Hero. Hero's in my bottom 5 too, guys. But, yeah, I'm going to go Hero. I mean, just watching the second game of the season against the Celtics, that guy really worked. I mean, he was already a good shooter, but he can shoot from anywhere now.
He had a lot of time to work on his shot.
Yeah, so he did. But seeing him, I've never seen him shoot a great mid-range shot like that. And he's driving in, he stopped, he pivots, and he shoots it. I mean, I'm like, wow. Some of the arcs on his shot that he can get over defenders is something that Jordan Poole can't do.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm going to go for Hero because he looks more comfortable on the court.
I agree.
He's loose, and you could tell Jordan Clarkson could get all tense.
Poole. Yeah.
Sorry, Jordan Poole. Yeah. But, yeah, Poole gets all tense, and then Hero just swifts around the court, and, I hate saying it because I don't like him at all. Hate Kentucky, hate Hero, hate the Heat. He has everything that I shouldn't pick him for, but respect is respect, and I respect Tyler Hero, and he's a baller, and he's better than Jordan Poole.
All right, so I'm going to go Hero too, but I want to – something that you mentioned that is very key, I think, is that comfortability factor. So Hero, even after being out with an injury for a long time, comes back in and acts like nothing happened. Mm-hmm. You see guys come back from injury, and they're acting like if they take another step, the slightest step, that they're going to tear or break or sprain whatever, they hurt. So Hero being able to come back and not really being scared and playing scared is a big key. But for Poole, now that he's on the Wizards, you could definitely see that he has a little bit more arrogance to his game, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But
he does. He's very arrogant.
You can tell he definitely knows that this is his team. It's him and Kuzma's team, and he can really put up a shot whenever he wants, which might be kind of a downfall for him. But it could definitely go the other way for him too.
Yeah.
It could definitely turn him into one of the better
it's either a make or break
offensive players in the league.
It's either a make or break.
It's definitely a make or break move for his career and for basically the Wizards franchise too.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see how that all plays out.
Yeah. Right. My next guy, one of the slim kings in the league, Brandon Ingram. Here we go. First man up.
I'm a big Brandon Ingram fan too. I love his game.
I do too.
I love his game.
First man up is Lauri Markkanen.
I'm going Markkanen here. And I know that's crazy to say after I literally just said I'm a big Brandon Ingram fan, but I'm an even bigger Lauri Markkanen fan. that guy does everything on the court exceptionally well and so fundamentally. It's actually unreal. Every time his growth from being in Chicago and now where he's at in Utah, there's a point his rookie year he was going off for a little bit, and then his second year in Chicago he really struggled
a lot,
and he found his way out of the rotation at one point.
Yep.
And then goes to Utah and becomes an all-star type player. So a guy who's able to work up to that point. Not to say that Brandon Ingram hasn't done that, but he's been kind of the same player almost his whole career.
Yeah, I'm going to go Markkanen too. For the sole fact that his growth, like you were mentioning, I feel like Brandon Ingram hasn't really had that growth. He's grown into a good player. He's a top player in the league, but not as dramatic as Lauri Markkanen has. I think Markkanen brings something that he can't with what you said, fundamentals. Because Brandon Ingram, I mean, he does everything right. He's good. But, I mean, Ingram could be more flashy, but Markkanen puts the ball in the net when it matters most.
That's true. Yeah, no, that's perfectly said.
Yeah.
Perfectly said.
So, next man up, Markkanen's old teammate, Zach LaVine.
Ooh. I'm probably going to go Zach LaVine here too, only because I think he can just do it from beyond the arc a little bit more than Brandon Ingram can. They can both get to the rim as efficiently as anybody in the league, but that shooting factor that LaVine brings, and he can shoot from anywhere on the court too. He can score from literally anywhere on the court, almost better than anybody in the league. I think one of the only people that can maybe do it better is it's going to be kind of crazy to say, but Anthony Edwards. He can score from anywhere at any time. Maybe a guy like Jamal Murray.
Yeah,
he can score from anywhere. Donovan Mitchell, those type of players. They can score from anywhere. They're a rare breed. So
they are.
A guy like Zach LaVine doesn't come around too often, so I think he's a little bit better than Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, with all that said, I'm going to go Brandon Ingram. I think Brandon Ingram's defense, this is where I'm going to bring in defense. Zach LaVine really struggles on defense a lot.
He does, and Brandon Ingram just wins a little bit more than Zach LaVine does too.
And it's like Brandon Ingram's defense isn't top in the league, but it's just enough to squeeze past Zach LaVine. And I think Brandon Ingram is a better team player instead of being so individualized like Zach LaVine. So I'm going to go Brandon Ingram for his defense here. Next guy up, Brandon Ingram or Evan Mobley?
It's too early to say Mobley, I think. As much as I really do want to try to make a case for him, I don't think is really possible right now. The only thing I can really make a case for Mobley right now is his defense. But other than that, his offensive game really isn't there as much as Ingram's is obviously right now. So Brandon Ingram, also one of the best mid-range guys in the league. Probably him and DeMar DeRozan. They're two of the top guys because they can just get anywhere in the mid-range and shoot over basically anybody. So
yeah.
And obviously like Kevin Durant and all those guys and Jason Tatum and Kawhi, all those guys. So, yeah, but like the lower level guys. You know what I'm talking about.
I'm going to go Brandon Ingram here. I wanted to throw in a player who had better defense to see if you were going to choose him because of the defense. But Brandon Ingram, statistically, individually, is better than Evan Mobley.
Yeah, just right now.
Now.
It's kind of a similar situation we had earlier. So,
yeah,
he's just too young right now. I think that Mobley will be better maybe by the end of the season too.
Yeah, that's very possible.
So I guess we'll just see.
Mobley also looks like he's 34 years old, and he's not. I don't know how he looks so old.
I don't know either. His hairline is like, he should just go bald, honestly.
Like Derek White, baby.
It's all the way back there.
Next man up, Sabonis.
I'm going Sabonis, and this was probably the easiest pick I've had. I personally think Sabonis is a top 15 player in the league. I think he does everything that Lauri Markkanen does better. I think he's just a better version of Markkanen. And he has that little lefty touch, too. So being around the NBA for such a long time with his dad being a big Trailblazers legend, I guess we'll call it, he's been around the game for a long time, so he knows what it takes to win. And I think he's really building a good thing up there in Sacramento.
Yeah, I'm going to go Sabonis here, too. I mean, bringing that team from one of the worst teams in the West to the fourth best team.
Yeah. Third best team.
Oh, yeah, third best team. I mean,
unreal.
And pushing the Warriors to a Game 7. I mean,
and revitalizing that fan base, too.
They're lighting the beam.
And
for the fact that he can get his team to win, I'm going to go Sabonis over Ingram.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks because I really do love Brandon Ingram, but these players are just flat out better than him right now.
Yeah, literally. Last man for Brandon Ingram, is Pascal Siakam.
I'm going Brandon Ingram here. I'm not a big fan of Siakam's game.
I'm the same.
I do like him as a player. Like, I think he's a good piece to have, like, for the Raptors. But I personally wouldn't want him on my team.
No.
And I don't think I think he needs to be that second guy. I don't think he can be the guy on a team. So, I don't know. Brandon Ingram can be that guy on a team. So
yeah.
I think he's just slightly better.
Yeah,
right
you took the words out of my mouth. It's the number 1 option versus the number 2 option. Got to go Brandon Ingram here. Just have to. That's all I'm going to say.
Simple as that. I mean, really can't say anything else. So for this last round, I guess here, we both picked a guy from our favorite teams.
My favorite player, but
one of my favorite players. So my guy's Paul George. And let's get right into it here. I assume who you're going to pick right away, but I'm assuming you can guess who I'm going to say right
Jason Tatum.
now. No, it's not. Jaylen Brown.
Oh, I'm going to go GB. We're going JB. Here's why. Defense, number 1. Yep. JB has one of the most slept-on defenses in the whole league. Being aggressive, I think that JB is more aggressive than Paul George. And shooting, I will give Paul George.
Yeah,
his efficiency.
Yeah, you better.
His efficiency.
Paul George.
Paul George probably has a better left hand. I mean, I love
Jaylen Brown has no left hand for any reference. Nobody knows. You need to look up the video of Jaylen Brown trying to dribble with his left hand.
He's getting
not
it back.
Pretty.
He's getting it back.
It's not prettier though.
No, it is.
Or it is prettier. It's not great though.
It's not great. But I feel like what JB brings to a team is more than what Paul George brings to a team. JB can also stay healthy. Paul George. If Paul George was more healthy towards like this point in his career, I think I'd probably go Paul George. For the sole fact of staying healthy and being that guy, even when Jason Tatum can get hurt and he steps right up. The weird thing with Jaylen Brown, he can have a game where he has 14 points and the next game he has 38 points. It's weird. And Paul George is more of like a consistent guy. He'll just average 20, 25 points and like he'll just keep it going. But JB really steps up when he needs to, and I think that's something Paul George can't do, especially in the postseason. But JB had probably one of the worst game 7. He had the worst game 7 I've ever watched in my life. So
that postseason remark just really hurt me a little bit right there.
But for the sole fact of staying healthy and being there when it matters most, going JB here.
Okay, so I mean, all very fair points, and I think we've had this conversation so many times.
We have.
And, I think they're probably the most comparable players. Yeah,
they are very similar,
which is insane. So looking at this is Paul George's stats, and then this is Jaylen Brown's stats. I'm just saying it just for the fact of so we can get it out there. So
okay, yeah.
Last season. Okay. Paul George averaged 23.8 points per game, 5.1 assists, 6.1 rebounds, 1.5 steals, and 0.4 blocks.
Hit me with JB's.
Jaylen Brown, 26.6 points per game.
Nice.
Okay, so that's better than Paul George right there.
Yep.
3.5 assists.
That's worse, right?
Yeah. Total rebounds, 6.9. So he had more rebounds than Paul George.
That's another reason right there.
Steals, 1.1 steals. So Paul George had more there. So tied 2-2. So it comes down to blocks right now. And they both average 0.4 blocks.
Wow.
Isn't that unreal?
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
Probably the most comparable players in the league right there. But I do want to make a point. You made a point about defense. You said that Paul George had better defense or had worse defense than Jaylen Brown, correct?
I did say that, yeah.
Okay, I completely disagree because I think that Paul George is so much more versatile on the defensive end than Jaylen Brown.
I'll agree with that for the fact that Paul George can guard more positions.
I'm going to say maybe Jaylen Brown can guard the perimeter a little bit better.
Yeah.
But once it gets brought in towards the elbow a little bit, Jaylen Brown gets cooked every time, and Paul George will stay there. If it gets down in the paint, maybe Paul George struggles a little bit. Jaylen Brown's definitely struggling down there.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know what it is either because they're the same height, too, I think. Or close to it.
They're very
maybe PG's
similar.
a little bit taller, but I don't know. This is a debate that we always have.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't really think you can go a wrong way.
Yeah.
I think it's just how we see our
teams, basically.
Yeah, basically the second player. Or I don't want to say the second player because I feel like it's a kind of a 1A, 1B with the Clippers.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that in a little bit, I think. Actually.
But, I mean, yeah. I love, speaking, we talked about, Paul George or Jaylen Brown. That doesn't take away from the fact that I absolutely love Paul George.
Yeah, I love Jaylen Brown too.
Paul George.
I mean, I think I obviously enjoy watching Paul George's game, but one guy that I enjoy watching a lot is Jaylen Brown, but not more than Paul George.
You know who Jaylen Brown worked with over the summer?
Paul George? No.
Lethal Shooter.
Lethal Shooter, St. Bonaventure legend right there. St.
Bonaventure legend.
Shout out to Lethal Shooter right there.
Well, Chris Matthews action.
Chris Matthews, yeah. So it's second guy for PG right here.
Yep.
Paul George or Ja Morant.
I'm going Paul George. Right off the bat. I cannot stand Ja Morant's off-court antics that gets him suspended. You can't be that dumb in the
Grizzlies
NBA.
are really struggling right now.
Yeah,
I think
they're
they started 0-6.
They're the only team that hasn't won a game in the NBA.
They'll turn it around.
And
I think they will.
But maybe that could be a reason to show why Josh should be better than
Maybe.
Paul George, because he can lead the team. But
maybe
Ja is amazing. He's really inconsistent though. He can have games where he has 40, the next game he'll have 10. For the sole fact of consistency, I'm gonna go Paul George.
I think
Paul George is a better man off the court.
And I think that's something that can be maybe argued the most for Paul George is his consistency. Ever since he's came to the league, he's been the same player when he's been healthy. He's been almost the same player every year that he's been on the court. So got to give him full credit for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Third guy I have for Paul George is Jamal Murray.
Ooh. Wow. That's a good one.
I'm going Jamal Murray.
I am too.
I'm not going to lie. Jamal Murray, just for whatever reason, I don't really know specifically what's better in his game than Paul George. I just know that it is better.
Yeah. No, yeah.
That dude can just score. He can just score.
It's the way that he can get to the rim.
Yeah.
It's the way he can chuck it up from behind the arc. I mean, I'm going to go.
And he's so clutch. He is so clutch.
He's one of the biggest clutch players in the whole league.
Yeah, which I think is something that maybe. I mean, I don't know. PG has been very good in crunch time ever since the bubble.
Yeah.
I mean, he just did that shot against the Lakers the other day to essentially force OT. We were still down, but if he doesn't hit that shot, they just triple out the clock. So I think PG's got a lot better in crunch time, but Jamal Murray is behind Dame maybe. Only behind Dame maybe for clutch player in the league.
I feel like Dame has really taken that out of his game though. I feel like he's becoming less and less more clutch.
He's gonna have to because he's gonna have the ball in his hand less.
Yeah, so for the fact that Jamal Murray can just find a way to get the ball in the hoop any way possible, I'm gonna go Jamal Murray here.
All right, so my fourth guy here is another guy that's in kind of a 1A, 1B kind of situation, and it's Karl Anthony Towns.
Ooh.
They don't play the same position.
No,
but they do a lot of the same things.
I'm going to go Cat, though. There's not a lot of centers that can shoot the ball like he can. And obviously, he can get to the rim. He's a good defender. I just feel like Cat brings more to the team than Paul George does, so I'm going to go Cat.
I think if you're ranking guys in the league, these are all guys will have in the anywhere from 10 to 20.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, since they're like 10 to 20, you can all, like, this can just be up in the air for any one of them. So, with having players that can just be interchangeable from 10 to 20, I mean, like, they're great players, but they're not the
top guys. Yeah. So, currently Anthony Towns here. I think I'm going to go PG still, with that being said. But I think that it's really close because I think if I'm ranking, like, PG 15 in the league, Cat's probably like 17.
Yeah, he's really, really close.
Yeah, and the next guy I'm going to name is probably 16, I think, or 14.
Okay.
Depending on how you want to think about it. But I'm going to go PG here only because I think I don't really know. I think Cat's defense just isn't that great. That's why they had to bring in Gobert because they were getting cooked down low. So they brought in the best interior defender in the league. So that's kind of crazy. But yeah, PG can just do it a little bit more defensively, I think, especially on the perimeter than Cat can.
Okay, yeah.
So the last guy here for PG is Kawhi.
I'm going to go Kawhi here. You cannot battle that defense. Those hands, man.
I'm not giving an answer here.
Yeah, I'm going to go Kawhi. What Kawhi can do on the court, not only defensively, but on the offensive side of the ball. Paul George is a better offensive player, but not as, like, present as Kawhi can. I feel like Kawhi, even though he probably doesn't put the ball in the hoop as much, or he could do more. I feel like one of the most well-rounded players is Kawhi. I'm going to go Kawhi for that reason.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think you can go wrong with either one, because you could make the case for PG's offensive game being the reason why you pick him. You could say that Kawhi's mid-range is why you pick him. You could say his defense is why you pick him. You could say PG's perimeter defense is why you pick him. I mean, there's a lot of different decisions why you could pick either guy. So I'm not going to give an answer on this one, only because they're two of my favorite players, and they're 1A, 1B for me. But I'm not saying which one's 1A and which one's 1B.
Oh.
They're just 1A, 1B.
I'm going to guess Kawhi is 1A.
I'm not saying what I think.
Wow.
They're 1A, 1B.
All right. So for the last player, it's number 1 in my book. My man JT. Okay. First man up, because I just want to be funny. Jason Tatum for Paul George.
All right. So I'm going Jason Tatum here because I think you just forced me into that.
I just wanted to hear it. I want it to be official on public.
It's Jason Tatum because he's a top 10 player in the league and PG isn't. It's simple as that. Yeah. PG's top 15, Jason Tatum's top 10.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Next man
Thanks
up.
for that, Gav. Yeah.
Next man up, Donovan Mitchell.
I mean, probably JT. I just think that he can do a little bit more, especially with his size. I don't think that Donovan Mitchell's, while being a pretty good defender at his size, I think that Jason Tatum can just do more defensively. Obviously, on the offensive side of the ball, they're both juggernauts, one of the best in the league. But defensively, Donovan Mitchell's just average at best, and Jason Tatum's above average.
Yeah, I'm going to go Jason Tatum here. You just do a lot more. And for the sole fact I just mentioned, I really look for the most well-rounded player most of the time. And I think Jason Tatum's just the most well-rounded player. Next guy up, Jimmy Butler.
Ooh, see, this is one that gets talked about a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go Tatum again here, only because I think Jimmy Butler's that tier, I don't even know. I think they're on the same tier, but it's
I think if there was 11-12 tier, I'd put Jimmy in the 11-12 tier.
Yeah, he's right outside the top 10.
Yeah.
Maybe he's 10-9.
Yeah.
But I think JT always should be ranked one or two higher than Jimmy Butler. No more, no less.
All right.
They should be in the same range, but I don't know.
I'm going to go Jason Tatum for the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah,
here.
He does a little bit more offensively.
He does more.
Yeah.
And defense, Jimmy Butler and Jason Tatum both share good defense.
I think Jimmy's defense is a little bit better than JT's, but I think the ability for JT to score maybe beyond the arc, staying a foot or two beyond the actual line, Jimmy Butler can't really shoot from that deep. He can shoot an efficient 3-point shot, but he can only shoot from deep when it's
against the Bucks.
He's another clutch time guy.
He is.
Yeah, so
Jimmy buckets. I hate that he's on the Heat because I love that man. Next guy up.
He's played for all the teams that you hate,
except for the Timberwolves.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Next, actually, I don't hate the Bulls. I don't hate the Bulls at all.
Yeah, they're
it's the Bulls.
They're mid.
Yeah. Next guy up, Devin Booker.
I'm going D-Book. And that's maybe one that you probably thought maybe I would have went away from Tatum, but D-Book, I've just seen it so many times where this dude can literally score from anywhere. He can shoot from half court in 3 minutes left in the second quarter. Random point in the game.
Yeah.
They could be up by 10, and I would just assume it's going in. Any shot that he puts up, I assume is going in. And if it misses, then I'm thank God. He can score 50 at any point in any game. He can turn up for 20 in any half at any point. He can go for 15 in any quarter at any point. He's done that against the Clippers many times, especially in the playoffs too. So the battles that the Clips have had with him, just from what I've seen, I think it's Devin Booker.
For the sole fact of defense, I'm not going Devin Booker. Jason Tatum is far better defense.
Fair. No, yeah, that's very fair. That's the thing that he lacks in his game, but I think that D-Book, I know it's weird to say, but I think he can maybe will his team to win a little bit more than JT can, only because I think he has more of a clutch gene than JT.
Yeah, I mean, both these guys sniffed almost finals. Both young guys.
They're both very close to winning the finals, yeah.
Both of them very young. Well, JT's a little bit younger.
I hope they play each other one day in the finals.
That'd be cool.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
I mean, that'd be really cool for Jason Tatum, too, because, like, say this year the Suns and the Celtics both make it. Bradley Beal and Jason Tatum are longtime best friends.
Yeah.
They're both from St. Louis.
Both from St. Louis, yeah.
And that would be really cool for their families. But, yeah, I'm going to go Jason Tatum, sole fact that he can play better defense, and Jason Tatum is still clutch. Let's just say that.
No, I'm not saying he's not. I just think that D-Book is maybe a little bit.
No, yeah, I would say he's probably more clutch. Yeah. But one of my favorite Jason Tatum clutch clips, look it up. It's when the Celtics played the Clippers and made Paul George touch the ground.
This is just a total Clippers annihilation right here. I don't know.
All jokes aside, next guy up.
All directed at Paul George too. It's unreal.
Next guy up, LeBron James.
This is right now. I'm still going LeBron. I am. I know that's crazy.
Wow.
But the things that this guy is doing at, how old is he now? Is he 40 yet?
I think he's 38.
39, 38?
Yeah, 38, 39.
38 plus. The things that LeBron James is doing at 38 plus is unhuman, basically. He's still playing like he's 25 years old.
That is very true.
And you see that picture of him the other day, leaping for that ball above his head? He posted it on Instagram.
Oh, really? I'm going to check that out right now.
Literally jumped, I think, 20 feet in the air. That's what the picture looked like, at least. Unreal. This dude just keeps doing it year after year. And obviously there's parts of Jason Tatum's game that's better. So, for example, probably his shooting's way better than LeBron's. LeBron, that's the thing that he's always struggled with in his career. And I don't know. I just think Jason Tatum right now, where he's at, I don't know. I think something about LeBron's still a top 5 player in the league, in my opinion, and JT's top 10 at best.
At best?
At best, top 10. I don't think he's a top 5 player.
I'm gonna go Jason Tatum here. LeBron is still doing what he's doing, but this is something we're not taking age into account. We're taking it just raw. Who's the better player? Gonna go Jason Tatum here.
I think that's a factor, though.
I mean, it is. I mean, then again, I think what LeBron can bring to the court, nobody else will ever bring to the court. I mean,
no.
And this is gonna sound crazy. I'm the biggest Celtics fan you'll ever meet, but that's the one man I don't hate at all. I really love LeBron.
I like watching.
I shouldn't.
I like watching LeBron a lot when he's not playing my team.
Yeah, I mean that's a good way to put it. But I love LeBron, but Jason Tatum nowadays just brings more to his game than what LeBron can bring to his game. And the fact that LeBron can get a minute restriction might also bring him back, toll him back. Really hope he doesn't really.
That's part of the age. That's part of the age argument too, though, is that other side where maybe LeBron will get taken out a little bit more than JT will, but when he's on the court, he's going to get. They've done the math with what he can do on the court and what he can't, and LeBron knows his limits. So he still goes out there and averages the same amount with less minutes, which is insane.
Yeah. All right, next man up. KD.
How many more do we have here? Is this the last one?
I had a couple. I'm sorry, guys. I just need to add a couple more because this is a tough category for the last
I'm still going KD.
I am too. I'm gonna go KD.
Yeah,
for the mid range. I mean, Jason Tatum is.
I think that's the best part of his game.
Who?
JT.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean his post moves are insane, especially for a younger player.
Yeah, but there's just something about KD.
I mean, his game is one of the smoothest of all time. I mean, one of the best pure basketball players.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of all time.
Yeah.
Of all time. It's simple as that.
And I mean,
that's my argument right
KD's still there. He hasn't left.
I know we're talking about right now too.
I know,
but still KD is like unreal efficiently and just
I'm also gonna bring up something you brought about earlier. I mean, KD had this injury, comes back and plays just as good, if not better. He's really been shining this year so far, and had a good season last year, even when he was out.
Just not playing scared.
Yeah, and for the sole fact that Kevin Durant is Kevin Durant, I'm going to give it to Kevin Durant.
Yep.
Next guy up, we have two more.
Two more?
We have two more.
Wow.
Shea.
Oh, come on. That's my guy. I I'm gonna go JT.
I am too.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think this is a very comparable one. I think Shea is like top 20 at best. JT's
He's actually number 8 on the
That's crazy.
number 100 list.
That's crazy. He's an amazing player, but he's not there yet. I mean, maybe after this year, but he's got to at least win a little bit to be considered a great player.
He was a first-team All-Pro last year, I think.
No, I know. I understand that.
Oh, he's first-team All-NBA.
Yeah, I think he deserved that, but
both guys were. Both guys were first-team All-NBA.
I think at the same time, you got to still account for winning in the equation. So, which is something that SJ just hasn't done.
Yeah.
I mean, his only playoff appearance was with the Clippers.
Yeah.
So he hasn't done it on the Thunder yet.
Yeah, and that's what I'm going to bring into it.
That's not true at all. That's not true at all. Sorry, he made the playoffs with in the bubble.
Oh well.
With Chris Paul as his point guard. His first year in OKC.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the sole fact of putting up the wins up in the win column, Jason Tatum knows how to do that better than SGA. Last man, and I will take this one to the grave with me, all the way 6 feet under, all the way if I get cremated into whatever ocean it's going to go into. Luka.
You're saying Jason Tatum?
I am saying Jason Tatum.
Okay.
I've been advocating this for years.
I'll just say Luka here, just for the fact of the, I guess, debate. Wait, so why do you think
Jason Tatum?
JT is better?
Jason Tatum, defense. Luka has no defense, and that's why I think Luka is, in my opinion, one of the most overrated players in the whole league. I think if Luka just had a defensive side of the ball that he had in his pocket, Luka could be one of the greatest to ever step on the court. Luka is not as athletic as Jason Tatum, not even close. Jason Tatum is far more athletic. The thing that Luka could do better is shoot behind the arc, and I will give him that. There's no explosiveness in Luka's game. It's a pop shot game. He doesn't have any crazy moves he can do. Jason Tatum's more elusive. He's more athletic. I already said he was more athletic, but it's just a fact that needs to be brought into the equation. And for the sole fact of winning, again, is Jason Tatum is a better winner than Luka is. Luka has only led his team to the Western Conference Finals, and Jason Tatum has been to the finals. That's one step Jason Tatum's already done better than Luka. And Luka gets the most attention in the league, which should not be the case. He should not be the player. I'm not saying Jason Tatum should be the player. It should be Giannis getting the most attention in the league. And he does get a lot of attention, don't get me wrong. But it should not be Luka getting the most attention in the league. Luka and Trae Young, I mean, those guys get so much attention for teams that aren't even that good. And the Mavs are good this year. I think they're undefeated still.
I'm not sure about that, but I just want to.
I just
want to step in here real quick to give my Luka side of this.
I'm almost done.
Okay.
So, in the pure, well-rounded, more defense, more athletic, better ways to get to the rim, can get to the rim any other way, it's Jason Tatum. I don't think, I truly, non-biased, I do not think Luka is a better player than Jason Tatum.
Okay, so I agree with you on a lot of those, like actually all of them. I agree with you on all of them. But I do think that you're leaving. I think you're leaving out a part of Luka's game that doesn't get recognized, which is just his ability to score team points and not just points for himself too. Obviously, he's going to put the ball in the basket himself. He's through 5 games this year, he's averaging 33.8 points per game, which is unreal. And last year we saw him because he had to. He couldn't really pass the ball as much as he wanted to because he didn't have
as
guys. Good of players on his team, which is another point that you mentioned. Obviously, Jason Tatum's been in the finals. Luka has not. But I think a part of that is because JT has had better teams.
He has.
He's had better coaches, I think.
Yep.
I think he's had better organizational structure.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because the Mavs are probably a top 5 organization in the league.
Yeah.
But the Celtics are probably top 3. So I think Luka took a big step back in most of his numbers last year, except points per game. Yeah. So in 2021 or in the 21-22 season, Luka averaged 28.4, 8.7 assists, which is crazy, and 9 rebounds. So he almost averaged a triple-double, which I don't think is something that Jason Tatum can do as much as Luka can when he's fully healthy. So last year, Luka averaged 32.4 points per game, 8 even points per game. So he took a little bit of a dip there.
Yep.
And then 8.6 rebounds. So he had to crash the glass last because he had to make up for it more a little bit on the perimeter defensively, which is something that you can't really be doing, but he's going to have to now with Kyrie as his backcourt teammate.
Yeah, I don't like this is going to be my last little spiel about it, but I feel like every single year when people are doing like their little previews or something, everybody's saying Luka's going to win the MVP.
Yeah, and but it's going to happen one year. It's going to happen one year. I think Luka is for sure going to win MVP at some point in his career. But I do think people are giving him a little bit more, I guess, grace with his career than a lot of other people. Like, he's getting a lot more patience. I think than a lot of people.
Lot more.
And if he doesn't like turn around and start winning some meaningful games soon, the narrative's going to get flipped on him, kind of how it got flipped on LeBron a little bit.
Yeah.
Early in his career, I mean, LeBron said, "Oh, this guy's not going to be the one of the greatest of all time because he can't win." I mean, he gets to the playoffs and then gets swept first round. That's because he had bad teams. I think Luka is kind of in a similar situation. He has a little bit better teams than LeBron did his first stint in Cleveland, but I think we could maybe a change of scenery for Luka is what he needs to.
I think that's
make
true.
that extra push.
And this is the thing.
I'm not comparing Luka to LeBron either.
Well, yeah, but
I'm just saying comparatively for those I guess arcs of their career.
Yeah,
he could be falling into that category.
He could, and I feel like the Mavericks have tried. That's the difference.
They really have.
The Cavs in that era didn't really try, but
they tried Porzingis. They tried Kyrie.
Yeah,
they've tried
bringing in Grant Williams.
They tried just giving Luka the team by himself, which is honestly the best that they've been at. When Luka was just by himself, and then they had really good role players around him. But they lost guys like Harrison Barnes,
Dylan Brooks,
who left. That was big.
Oh no, not Dylan.
So that was pretty big. So I think if they could just keep those role players in rotation and give Luka the ball more, maybe you have to trade Kyrie again, I think, to do that. But I don't know.
They got to get the one thing that he needs a big man. Every point guard needs a big man.
He doesn't really have one. They did try. They really did try with Kristaps, but it just didn't work out.
I'm loving where Kristaps is now.
Yeah, he's in Boston now. Yeah.
And I'm loving every second of it. But, yeah, I mean, that's the episode, guys.
Yeah, that's the episode right there.
So thank you guys for listening. We hope you guys enjoy this, and if you do, throw in a little comment. Tell us
maybe
we'll
do this with another league, too. Maybe we'll do it with NFL.
NHL.
Maybe NHL.
I don't know. We could definitely
do this. We could do it for college. We could do it for anything. We could do this for games in general, you know? We could say that, what about 2016 Game 7? Yeah. Pick a side against that. Let's see about that.
Yeah. We could definitely
this one. I like this episode.
It's
a good one.
We could play around with this a little bit. So let us know if you guys want to listen to more of these.
Yeah. Let us know on our Instagram.
At Out of Bounds Podcast with a dot in between every single word.
Yes, there is, Gavin. Thank you guys. Leave some feedback below. Let us know what you want to see, and have a great day.
Have a day.